Hey guys, it's not Labrynth from Invoked 101. Welcome back, and today we're going to be taking a look at Labrynth. This is a deck that was lent to me by Angel of Alchemy, so that way I could deck profile it for her. She's been seeing some pretty decent success with this strategy as far as like playing goes, and it's really impressive the way this deck functions. There's a lot of chains, a lot of things to keep track of when you are playing this, so do keep that in mind whenever you're considering picking this deck up. But it is a pretty cool deck. It is a little pricey, mainly because of this card. I believe this card is almost 20 bucks a pop. But yeah, so definitely a good strategy, especially now with the new card out of Darkwing Blast. So we're going to set the spells and traps and extra deck off to the side, and we'll get right into the main deck monsters. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That way the channel can continue to grow. With that said, we're going to start off, of course, with the new card, Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. So what this one says, it says, while you control a set card, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And it says you can only use one of the following effects of Lady Labyrinth once per turn. If a Labyrinth card or effect or a normal trap card was activated this turn, except Lady Labyrinth, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. When a normal trap card is activated, quick effect, you can set one normal trap with a different name directly from your deck. So it's not only does she have a protection effect on herself, not only is she huge with 3k29, but she also gets you the other traps that you wouldn't normally be able to access from your deck. She basically grabs any trap card in the game that is normal, which is incredible. After that, we have two Lovely Lady of the Silver Castle. So you got Lady Labyrinth and Lovely Labyrinth. Sorry, so Lady Labyrinth and Lovely Labyrinth. This one says your opponent cannot activate monster effects in response to the activation of your normal trap cards. You can only use each of the following effects of Lovely Labyrinth once per turn. You can target one normal trap card in your graveyard and set it to your field, but it cannot be activated. Unless you control a fiend monster. So something to keep out for. And then it also says if another monster leaves the field by your normal trap effect, except during damage step, you can destroy one card in your opponent's hand at random or on their field. So non-targeting destruction, also hand destruction, which is incredible. Really strong card. The last big monster that she was playing was Archfiend Labyrinth. This card is pretty neat. I know that she was using this as like a chump blocker and also a beater, because he's like a, this card, is this a he? Oh, it might be a she. This might be a she. Who knows? On its, it gains forward attack for each normal trap with a different name in your graveyard. Your opponent's monsters cannot target fiend monsters for attacks except Labyrinth Archfiend. And it says you can only use each of the following Labyrinth Archfiend effects once per turn. If a trap card is activated, except during damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. It's like a multi-faker. That's what it was. If this card is special summoned, you can set one normal trap from your deck. You can only that can only be activated when an attack is declared. So this searches Fair Welcome Labyrinth, Mirror Force, Magic Cylinder, any battle trap, which is kind of crazy. I think this can set like Super Equation Cannon or whatever the heck that was called. So there's some interesting things that this can put on the board, which is kind of fun. Next up are the Servants of the Labyrinth. We played 3 Ariana. Ariana, the Labyrinth Servant, is probably the better one. It says, if this card is normal or special, you can add a Labyrinth card from deck to hand. Except Ariana, if another monster leaves the field by a normal trap effect, except during the damage step, you can draw a card, then apply one of these effects. Then apply the following effect. From your hand, either special summon one fiend monster or set a spell or trap. You can only use effects of her once per turn and only once that turn, which kind of sucks. But typically, you're not going to be activating traps on your turn. You're going to normal summon her, and then you're going to search out either a trap card or one of these guys up here, and then you're going to get your... and then during your opponent's turn, you're just going to flip it and special summon them from the hand and draw cards. After that, we have Ariane, the Labyrinth Servant. This one isn't as good, but she's okay. Definitely still want to play her. It says you can send one normal trap from your hand or that's set on your field to the grave, special summon one level 4 or lower fiend from your deck in defense position, except Ariane, the Labyrinth Servant. And the main thing that this would be used for is if you open this in like a trap, you could... summon this, dump the trap, special summon Ariana, and then search potentially either Lady or Lovely, and then Lovely reset the trap. So that's something you could do. And then it says, if another monster leaves the field by your normal trap effect, except during the damage step, you can draw a card, and then apply this effect. From your hand, either special summon a fiend or set the spell or trap. which the reason you want to set the spell or trap from your hand is because when you activate it, you could immediately set it, even though you can't really activate it that turn, unless you use a guy like Cuckoo Clock. Cuckoo Clock has the ability of a quick effect. You can discard him, and then this turn you can activate one normal trap card that was set this turn, if you control a Labyrinth monster. And then it says, if this card is sent from your hand to the graveyard to activate a normal trap card or your Labyrinth monster or your Labyrinth card or effect, except Labyrinth Cuckoo Clock, while this card is in your graveyard, during the damage step, you can add this card, except during the damage step, you can add this card from your hand or special summon it. So pretty cool. You just ditch it and then it comes right back. Really, really like this guy. Then we have the other items. I don't know. Two, Chandraglier. Chandraglier, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the grave and discard one card, set one Labyrinth spell or trap directly from your hand or deck. If a monster leaves the field by your normal trap effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. And then Stovey is pretty similar. I believe it has the same exact effect. You can send this card from hand, from field or from hand or field to grave, discard a card, set a Labyrinth spell or trap, except whenever a monster leaves the field by your Labyrinth effect, this one special summons himself. So, pretty cool, and it's a 2K defender, so really good chump blocker there. That is it for the Labyrinth monsters. Honestly, not a bad lineup. This is a fairly competent strategy with all the monsters that it has and all the effects that it has, and all the utility it has to get out the monsters, the recursion between the items where if this one's discarded, it summons itself. If your traps activate, these ones either recycle themselves somehow. And then, of course, the Stratos and Tour Guide that these ones are. So, and like I said, this one can special summon itself, and this one can special summon itself. So it's really this one that's lacking right now. But still, all of them very good. For supports, we are playing the 3 Backjack. This is to stack the deck for, what's it called? For getting traps and also just for setting traps at the field. It's kind of like just a better Ariana, like that second effect where it's like draw a card and then you can set a trap from your hand, except he lets you activate it that same turn. So he's really good. And then the last monster in the deck is triple Ash Blossom. Woo, Ash Blossom. Gotta play it, because best card in the game. After that, we have the Labyrinth back row, which we're going to talk about first. We're going to start with the Labyrinth traps because they're more interesting. 3, Welcome Labyrinth. This is the heart and soul of your deck. This is like the go-to card of this deck. It says special summon 1 Labyrinth monster from your deck. Also until the end of this Special summon 1 Labyrinth monster from the deck. Also, until the end of the next turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the deck or extra deck except fiends, which is fine. And then it says, if a monster leaves the field by your normal trap effects, while this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent, you can set this card. You can only use each effect of Welcome Labyrinth once per turn. So really strong, being able to special summon Lovely from the deck, being able to reset itself, and on top of that, Lovely can also just straight up set this, but you're not really going to do that because this card can, do it itself. But yeah, really strong card here. Then we have Fair Welcome Labyrinth. This is the main set that I noticed off of Archfiend. So what this one does, it says, when a monster declares an attack, while you control a Fiend monster, target 1 card on the field, negate the attack, and if you do, destroy the targeted card, then you can set 1 non-Labyrinth normal trap from hand or deck. This card is pretty nuts. I know that Angel of Alchemy was using this card a lot. This was like, she said that this is one of her favorite cards in the strategy just because of how unique it is. And she made the point that you don't have to target the monster that attacked. You can target any card on the field, blow it up, set another card, and the attack still gets negated. So technically, it stops 2 things is how she was explaining it. And yeah, really strong card. I completely agree. For the other Labyrinth stuff, we are playing 1 of the field spell. This card, I know that she was playing 2 of this at one point, and she ended up cutting 1 because she was like, it doesn't really feel like it works. It only works with Welcome Labyrinth. So this card says, if you activate a set Welcome Labyrinth normal trap, you can add this additional effect to that card's effect's resolution. Also, after that, destroy 1 card on the field. Then it says, if you activate a non-Labyrinth normal trap card, except during damage step, you can special summon 1 Fiend monster from your hand or grave, which is fine. That's nice. But it also isn't exorbitant. It's not really advancing game state. It says you can only use each effect once per turn, which is fine. It's just one of those cards where it's too specific to work with Welcome, and understandably, Welcome is the best card in the deck, but for an entire field spell to eat up a slot, I get why this was not a continuous, because you want your space for the back row, but realistically, yeah, not super great. Then we're playing one Labyrinth setup. This card is pretty neat. It's a quick play spell. It says target 2 of your Labyrinth spells or traps that are banished or in your graveyard, except setup, shuffle them into the deck. Then, if you control a fiend monster, you can set non-Labyrinth normal traps with different names directly from your deck equal to the number shuffled. You can only activate one Labyrinth setup per turn. Now, because this says shuffle them, if one of your targets gets DD crowed, you can still resolve it in set 1. It's really, really cool like that. This is a nice card to have. That's it for the Labyrinth spells and traps. For auxiliary spells and traps, the only other spell in the deck is Triple Pot of Extravagance, and it's because the extra deck doesn't matter. You're locked into Fiends, and the only real extra deck monster you're going to be summoning is Link Karibo to get Backjack off the board, and that's all turn 1. So you're not even going to have the opportunity to do it with Welcome. But yeah, so 3 Pot of Extravagance, again, just because your extra deck doesn't really matter. I know that she was resolving this like constantly. Locals. So for other traps, we're playing 2 Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch. If you control a Fiend monster, target a card on the field and destroy it, then you can send one Fiend from deck to the graveyard. So it sets up your stuff for your Labyrinth monsters and also sets just outs a card. Really, really cool card. Really, really nice card to have. And it's a Labyrinth card, but it's not a Labyrinth card because this was clearly designed. It's in the Labyrinth set, and it was clearly designed to be like, okay, it outs a card. It's a Labyrinth card. But yeah, this is the non-Labyrinth trap that all the cards were mentioning. The other really good trap card to be playing right now is Terrors of the Underroot, and this card is very annoying because it got used against me and I didn't like it. Terrors of the Underroot, target a card your opponent controls and 1 card in their graveyard. Notice, card, not monster, not spell or trap, card in their graveyard. Send that card from the field to the grave, and if you do, set the other card from the grave to your opponent's field. You can only activate 1 Terrors of the Underroot per turn. She got rid of one of my big boss monsters and swapped it for a Pot of Prosperities in the battle phase. I was like, are you for real? I hated it. I was like, this is awful. Whoa. This card's bonkers. Yeah, this card's really, really good. After that, she was playing 2 Dogmatic of Punishment. This obviously pops a card. Don't need your extra deck. So, makes sense. 2 Compulse, again, makes a card leave the field because of a normal trap. Makes perfect sense. I believe she's actually citing a 3rd one. And then the last trap, 2 more traps. The last normal trap, 2 Imperm, and 2 Solemn Strike. Which, this could be Judgment. Could be. But Solemn Strike seemed to be working out for her, so. That's, where we are with the main deck. It's pretty solid, and like I said, she's been seeing a lot of success with this. Going into the extra deck, of course, I mentioned them earlier. We are playing 3 Link Karibo. Link Karibo basically just is for Backjack. That's the main thing that this is for, is just going off of, is getting Backjack to resolve, because you can normal summon Backjack, link it off for Link Karibo, and then trigger his effect. So that's mainly what you're using him for. Then 2 Nightmare Phoenix and 2 Unicorn. She actually did use Unicorn to out a monster that could not be destroyed by battle or card effect. So she was like, oh no, he's too big, and then she was staring at Unicorn for like a solid minute going, oh, I got a Unicorn. They're also Fiends, so you can link into them under Welcome Labyrinth. Xyz playing 1 Tornado, 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Vespinato. I don't think these ever came up. Oh no, she said this one did. She said Vespinato came up. So it's pretty neat. Stardust Dragon, she's playing Starlight Road in the side deck, I think, to counter Lightning Storm. So we told her, hey, you should be playing Stardust Dragon in your extra. Realistically, she should probably be playing 3 of these, just because. 2 Natis for the Dogmatic of Punishments, and 2 really big fusion monsters. If we had another 5-headed dragon, probably be playing another 5-headed, but I couldn't find one. So Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon with 45 is right up there. So yeah, these are the 2 monsters that she was playing to like just out anything over 3,000. Yeah, that is Labyrinth. I'm not going to show off her side deck, mainly because I know that she's still working on it and tightening everything up with the strategy, so I don't want to kind of throw that away. But yeah, really, really interesting deck. Really, it's probably the best not the best, but it's probably the best new trap deck that's come out. Like, if you compare this to Amazement's, this is way better designed than Amazement's was. As well as just overall being a really good, fun, yet competitively viable deck. She says that she can handle Tier fairly easily. She said that she can handle Sprite fairly easily. And she says that Branded is the hardest matchup for this deck. So, but with good side decking, you could probably stop Branded. But yeah, that has been Labyrinth. Let me know what you think about this deck in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.